A leader, a mentor, an example to other soldiers. Staff Sergeant David Beck is a true professional non-commissioned officer.
Staff Sergeant Beck is a guy that doesn't let adversity affect him. He always is mission focused. The mission always surrounds his soldiers.
You gotta physically check your guy, make sure he's good to go.
Staff Sergeant Beck is a highly decorated combat veteran whose awards include 5 Purple Hearts. His most recent Purple Heart was for a gunshot wound to the head while leading his squad on a combat patrol.
On 12 June, I was leading a patrol up to the Nakabol district, Paktika province. We were set up in 2 separate groups. His element was going up the west side of the mountain, doing a bounding overwatch, when we engaged 3 different enemy elements in 3 different cardinal directions. The opening reports I got was Staff Sergeant Beck was shot in the head. He actually called me back on the radio to tell me that he was shot, but he was okay, could still function. And he led his squad for the rest of the firefight, which lasted around 3 hours. Once we got back to the trucks where we reconsolidated, he fell unconscious, and we needed a medevac for him.
As soon as he recovered, Staff Sergeant Beck insisted on returning to his company. He wanted to continue leading his soldiers in combat operations while teaching them how to endure the emotional stress in combat.
Sergeant Beck's, definitely a hands-on, leader. He's a person that, he's been there and done that. So I think his soldiers love that.
A subject matter expert on tactical aspects of the job, Staff Sergeant Beck ensures that his squad is trained on all of the squad's weapons systems and prepared to go on patrol on a moment's notice.
I've seen a wide variety of advice that Staff Sergeant Beck has mentored his soldiers on. He uses his heart to lead, which makes him a much better, more effective leader because the soldiers can understand and see where he's coming from. I don't think awards matter to any soldier who's truly a leader. I know they don't matter to Staff Sergeant Beck. He doesn't do what he does for an award. He does what he does for the soldiers.
I'm Staff Sergeant David Beck. I'm a face of strength because I put my soldiers before myself.
Lorraine Melgosa didn't grow up with dreams of being in the funeral business. But after the death of her father, a World War II pilot, Lorraine realized the importance of providing a proper funeral for a loved one. So she bought a unique 1867 horse-drawn coach with a draft horse and started a funeral carriage service. Jim Herstein, a member of the Colorado Patriot Guard Riders, has watched Lorraine grow her business over the years.
Lorraine had been in the funeral carriage business for a while, but when one of the locals, Justin Vasquez, was killed in action, she seemed to get the calling, and it really hit close to home, the cost of freedom for her and others in the community, and that's when she started providing the service at no charge to fallen military men and women.
Lorraine doing my son's funeral gave her a sense of pride in what our servicemen and women are doing, and so I believe that's why she wanted to do this for other servicemen and women that have passed.
Lorraine spends her time traveling around the western U.S., donating her services to families who've lost a soldier killed in action.
I believe she understands the grief that the families are in. Expenses, the last thing that she wants them worrying about. And I also believe that's her contribution.
The military service is a very honorable event with the rifle squad, the folding of the flag, the playing of taps, but when Lorraine and her horse and hearse are there, it adds so much to the honor and respect.
Seeing the horse and carriage at the funeral was an honor. The horse was standing at attention and was very still when they loaded Justin's casket into the carriage.
Lorraine may not have planned to devote her life to honoring fallen heroes, but it's become her life's calling.
it shows them somebody is remembering their loss. Because I believe that's our greatest fear, mine and other families, is that their son or daughter is going to be forgotten.
I would like our military to know that this average American recognizes and is grateful for the sacrifices they make on a daily basis. I'm Lorraine Melgosa. I'm a face of strength because I support the families of the fallen.
Retired military pilot Lieutenant Colonel James Graham lives a life of service that reaches beyond his Indiana community. Following his 28-year career with the Army National Guard, Graham used his military flight skills to support local charities in a civilian capacity. In 2005, Jim's charity went global. His son, then Major Rick Graham of the Army National Guard, was deployed to Afghanistan, and during a routine patrol in the mountains just east of Kabul, Rick and his unit stumbled on a refugee camp.
They had absolutely nothing. They were living in holes in the ground where they could just dig out as much space as they could to try to get some protection from the elements.
The unit returned with food, medicine, and doctors. One child in particular stood out, Kudrat, a one-year-old with a serious heart problem.
We couldn't just let this little baby die. My dad's the best guy I know to go to because he'll make something happen.
Jim Graham jumped right into raising the funds needed to bring Kudrat and his father, Hakeem, to the United States so that Kudrat could receive the heart surgery he needed. During the stay, Graham and his wife, Roberta, became very close to Hakeem and Kudrat and welcomed these refugees into their home. Sadly, Kudrat passed away soon after his return to Afghanistan, but Graham's support of Hakeem and his community didn't end. Graham went on to raise over $13,000 to send to Hakeem, who used the money to build a small school and medical clinic. Inspired by what Hakeem did with the money, Jim and Roberta continued fundraising on Hakeem's behalf. The Grahams helped expand the startup school into a permanent place for boys and girls to get an education. Hakeem named the school Kudrat in honor of the child that brought the two families together.
I know that he will continue to monitor very closely the needs of the boys and the girls and the families there in Afghanistan, and he will continue to pay attention to those needs and help when he can.
The Grahams continue to be ambassadors for good, providing support for those in need. Jim Graham continues to pass his values of family, service, and sacrifice to his friends and family.
Jim Graham exemplifies selfless service. It takes a big heart to do what Jim has done through the years.
My wife and I believe it's important to reach out to others in the world to promote world peace and understanding. I'm Lieutenant Colonel James Graham, U.S. Army retired.
Sergeant First Class Jared Youngema is a third-generation soldier who grew up playing war with his friends. When he eventually joined the Army, he found his passion, serving his country and fellow soldiers. In 2004, while deployed in Iraq, Youngema suffered serious life-threatening injuries. Youngema was acting as the gunner on his Humvee as part of a small convoy. While stopped on an overpass, a car with 500 pounds of explosives drove directly into his vehicle. The blast threw him 50 yards, impaling him on a wire fence hanging over the freeway. As Youngema hung there unconscious, he took intense enemy machine gun fire. He was believed to be dead. But Youngema's time had not come. Medics had to resuscitate him 4 times before they could begin to work on his severe injuries. Youngema also had to recover much of his memory of his wife, his family, his childhood, his life. As if his physical injuries were not enough, he was hit with another blow. His young son was diagnosed with cancer. Youngema found the strength to make it through his own healing and help his child. But he still faced a difficult choice: take medical retirement or work hard to recover and remain in the Army. Sergeant Youngema decided he was not ready to give up his career. He is now responsible for filling the enlisted positions in the Air Defense Branch at Human Resources Command. Supporting the professional development needs of his fellow soldiers is his way of continuing to support the Army.
I started wondering, how can he still be going? How can he still be in the Army pushing as hard as he does?
Sergeant First Class Youngema doesn't let his responsibility stop with the soldier, but also looks at the needs of each soldier's family.
It isn't just, I'm going to move you from one Army post to the next, but I'm going to move you from that post to the next one, and I'm going to take into consideration your family and all your medical conditions, and what does this mean for your children if I move you?
Youngema wants to keep inspiring soldiers in any way he can. He conducts training and professional development sessions, speaks to wounded warriors, and continues to take a personal interest in each of his soldiers. In spite of all he's been through, Sergeant First Class Youngema's dedication remains strong.
He's a tremendous individual. He's a true warrior. He has such unimaginable energy. He has such a focus and drive for life and for his family in the Army.
Sergeant First Class Jarrett Youngema knows that strong soldiers make a strong Army. He has recovered, his family has recovered, and together they continue to support the Army.
I work hard to support and inspire our soldiers to help them reach their fullest potential. I am Sergeant First Class Jarrett Youngema.